What's up everybody, Zach here with Quilting. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through how to put together our exclusive pattern, Enchanted. Let's get started. Now, before we start this quilt, I have a finished block right here that I want to point a couple things out on because this block is slightly unusual, not hard, just something to watch out for. If we break this block up into its individual pieces or its individual blocks, your corners, your two pieces right here, are mirror images of each other. So as we're sewing these, there's going to be two different steps of sewing a left and a right. Wanted to point that out so you don't make them all the same way and then end up with some frustration a little bit down the road. These blocks here in the centers of all of our sides, there's a really cool way to do these, which I'm going to walk you through. It's going to look like we're doing things wrong and this isn't going to work until we actually get to the end. So bear with me as we go through that, and then center is just a square, so that's easy enough. Something cool about this quilt is because of the way the blocks are put together, it all kind of just flows. If you look at the finished product, it takes a second to find where one actual quilt block ends and the next one begins. And that is because of this almost double border we have built into our quilt blocks. So you've got this row of smaller blocks here, this row of larger blocks here. You put this together with the next one, and that creates a new block out of it. So when you have all of these combined, you can see that it just kind of flows, and then your transition joint, which is right here, actually creates its own block that is framed in a nice little border around it, and that kind of just flows through the entire quilt, which is a nice effect. I showed you the finished block when we started this because we're going to walk you step by step through this process. That being said, I'm going to bring up the pieces for this block that we're going to use for each step. The full description obviously is in the pattern, which is free down below. If you are new to our channels, all of our patterns are free for these tutorials. You can just click the link. It'll take you to our website where you can check out as many of them as you would like. Again, totally free to do. For our first step, we're going to take our square right here, which is cut to 5 1/4 inches. Now, we also have these little squares which are cut to 2 7/8 inches. The measurements on this are a little unusual, kind of like the rest of this quilt. Just keep that in mind as we're going along. Everything's okay, trust the process. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to put my 2 7/8 inch squares kitty corner to each other and right sides together with my bottom fabric. And then I'm just gonna mark a line corner to corner across using our handy dandy no slip ruler. With that done, we're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam along both sides of the line we just put on there. Now with that sewn, we're gonna cut these two pieces in half, right down that line that we marked originally. Now that we have this piece done, I know this looks like something's wrong. It's not. What we're going to do is we're going to take another 2 7/8 inch square right here, and we're going to lay this down on top of our bigger piece of fabric here, right sides together, and we're going to mark a line point to point on that square. And now we're going to sew on both sides of the line that we just did and cut that in half. Now we'll press these open. This will give us 2 flying geese. That will then give us 2 flying geese. Now, what you're gonna do, you're gonna do the exact same process, but with your 2 other fabrics to make this square. And you'll end up with one like this and one like this. Now we're gonna take our 2 pieces, sew them together to make our center block. And there you go. Now that we have this piece done, we're gonna move on to the assembly of our corner blocks. To make our center block, I'm going to take 2 pieces of fabric that are 5 3/4 inches square. I'm gonna put them right sides together. Then we're gonna mark a diagonal line going both directions, corner to corner. Now we're gonna sew a 1/4 inch seam on both sides of both of those lines that we just made. Now that we have that sewn together, we're gonna mark 2 more lines on our square. One in the center going top to bottom, and one in the center going left to right. 4. Now you're going to cut on all 4 of those lines, top to bottom, left to right, and both diagonals. There we go. That gives us 8 half square triangles that we can now use to make our corner block. I'm gonna go ahead and press these. Now, with those half square triangles cut out, we're going to make the corner block of our overall block. I'm gonna take these and line them up. Remember, these side pieces are mirror images of each other, so pay special attention to the orientation of all of these. In the case of the fabrics I'm using, these blue squares should be on the top and pointed out from the center of the block. And now, as you cut out one of your big squares to make the 8 smaller squares, you're going to use 3 for each corner. These ones I'll start setting up are going to make the mirror image. Got that there? I'm gonna take a 2.5 inch square that's gonna match the size of these and use that to now sew my corner piece together. And there's our corner. You're gonna go ahead and repeat this process for all 4 of them and then move on to the next step. So now we have all our pieces cut out, we're gonna go ahead and lay out our block. We have our blocks here, 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 and here. And these ones, in this case, the green triangles are in the center. And then for our corner blocks, we want to make sure that this piece right here and this piece right here are mirrored. So we have our blue triangles pointing left, blue triangles pointing right, and then if we come down to the bottom, it's the exact same thing, mirrored like this. We've got our blue triangles pointed left, blue triangles pointing right. Now, before we continue, I do want to just pause for 1 second and say, if you're enjoying this content, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it with your friends. That tells YouTube you like what you're seeing, and quilters in general will probably like this, so YouTube will push it to them, and that helps our channel grow, and we can reach more people who are looking for a little bit of inspiration. That being said, back to the quilt. Now we have our rows sewn together, we're going to sew all of our rows together and finish this block. And there you go, quilt block is finished and it looks awesome. I know I say this in a lot of my tutorials, but this is a really impressive quilt, and it is. I hope that as you've gone through this tutorial with me, you've been able to see that this block is not actually as difficult as it might appear to be. And I hope you will take that and apply it to other patterns that you see. That when you see something that looks really maybe intense looking, you think, you know what, I bet I could do that. The goal of these tutorials is to help you advance your sewing game and have a lot of fun while you're doing it. If you like this pattern, the link is down in the description below. It's free on our website, so check that out. If you need some additional inspiration, check out one of these videos right here. Until next time, my name is Zach, teaching you how to sew like a pro, and this is Sew Ya Quilting.